but super important. How to fix your credit in 2023. Now, why do I say 2023? Well, it's significantly more difficult and a different process now than it ever was before. And I've been doing this for over a decade. I've been doing this for 12 years. That's a very long time. And out of all of my years of doing this, it's, like I said, the most difficult to get results now. So there's a couple of pointers that I need to give to you for you to understand what it's going to take for you to actually achieve results. Because YouTube University, all you find is a bunch of people telling you to do this one thing, and overnight you're going to get these negative items that have been on your credit report for years removed. And it doesn't work like that. Maybe 10 years ago, maybe 15 years ago, but definitely not right now. If you don't listen to the message instead of looking at the messenger, then you are going to let this go right past you, and those negative items are going to still be here a year from now, and you're going to be back here on my channel with the facts taken directly from your credit report. It doesn't work anymore to just send out some general delete because it's inaccurate, delete because it's not money. No, you need to, number one, have a consumer law to support whatever it is that you are telling them to do, such as a violation. There needs to be a consumer law that supports it, and you need to back it up with the facts taken directly from your credit report. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's when you pull your credit report, you're looking at Identity IQ or Smart Credit. If you don't have those, the links are down in the description. Yes, they are my affiliate links. You need to have all three bureaus or whichever is available for you side by side. You're looking at the account, and if you say delete this account for violation because you didn't put the required notice of dispute, you need to fill it in with, when I originally disputed on X date, that notice was required to be on there by the report of X date. If you say that they need to remove that account because they illegally re-aged the date last paid, you need to put, these are the dates. Experian reports this, Equifax reports this, TransUnion reports this. Otherwise, you are not going to get these things removed. But I'm telling you, it is possible to get them off, okay? Now, if you don't know how to do any of this, you don't want to deal with any of this, that's cool, because I have a ton of resources outside of my 1,600 videos going back 9 years to show you how to do this for free, or you can see if I can do it for you, or I even have courses. Send me to .co/courses and you will see all the courses. Otherwise, my740.com to see if I can do the credit sweep for you. Now, having said that, every single time you send out a dispute letter, you need to send it out certified with return receipt. Why? There's a very specific reason why we're doing this. Number one, the credit bureaus receive 1.5 million disputes per month per bureau. That's the first thing. Your letter is literally just a penny thrown into a pool of other pennies, but yours needs to be the one that is being tracked going into that pool. That's number one. Number two, if you don't do this, you're saying, hey, I disputed on XYZ date. The credit bureau say, hey, we didn't get it. But when you have the proof, you can say, yes, I disputed on this date, you received it on this date, it was signed on this date by this person, here's the proof, here's the card, it was sent back to me, and it gets put into your violations. You need to track the dates, the violations, the date your dispute went out, the date it was received, whether it was signed for, whatever it is. Every single movement that you make on your file has to be documented. Why? Because number one, if you sue them, you need to have that proof. Number two, if you go to the CFPB, you need to have that violation log. Number three, when you do go to the CFPB, if you have to, you need to have copies of everything, your credit reports, before and after, to prove that violation or the inaccuracy. You have to have the certified mail. You have to have the return receipt. You have to have your disputes. You have to have every single little thing that is going to prove your case beyond any sort of anything, okay? Leave nothing to the imagination, no room for error, no nothing. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. That's the one thing that I want for you to remember. When you are looking at your credit report, the number one way that I catch the bureaus in the most common violation, at least for my clients, with all the reports that I go over with all of my clients, and it's been like this for the past 5 years, it's going to be Failure to report the notice of dispute. We talk about this many, many times, okay? I have courses on it's failure to enter the required notice of dispute. Why is this so important? They are required when you send out a dispute to mark your account as dispute. Let's say that this is your notice of dispute. If this is not on the account where it says consumer disputes or disputed by consumer or something along those lines, by that 30th day after they receive, it's a violation of FCRA 623A3, 623AC, and FDCPA 8078. Now, if you're looking at your credit report 1, you're going to see, because it's credit report 1, that it's not marked as in dispute. You send your dispute letter, and again, on that 31st day, that notice is required to be there. So you pull that new credit report and you look at the comment section. On each credit report, it's different, but normally it's just comments, creditor comments, comments by creditor. It says something about comments, and that is where it is required to be the notice of dispute, okay? If it's not there, go and check out section 620. An account that was disputed that does not notate that it was disputed cannot report anymore. And if you're using factual disputes, your disputes cannot come back as frivolous. Why? Number one, you're using the facts directly from the credit report. That's why, going back to the beginning of when we went live, I said the most important thing that you need to do is use the facts from your credit report, because stall tactics are so ubiquitous, meaning they're happening with so many people all over the place. It's like a stall tactic pandemic, okay? Hopefully I'm not demonetized for using the word pandemic, but anyways, that you have to make sure that you're doing this, right, with the facts. Another thing is that a dispute can only be frivolous if the creditor, and I talked about this last night as well, performed their responsibilities or their duties under section 623 to begin with. And that's another thing that you can challenge, okay? Do not just send out a general one-size-fits-all statement. Yes, it is the dispute reason that removes your account, but the top of your letter, first of all, don't include a ton of laws unless you are specifically fighting violations and you have that consumer law that backs up whatever you're saying, okay? So you're not going to put in a bunch of Congress states that blah, 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 and Cushman versus TransUnion from 1997 stipulates that congressional opinion was in section 623 and 609 and blah, blah, blah. Don't do that. Don't do that. What you're going to do is 1 to 2 sentences at most. I'm writing this letter because, and I want you to do XYZ. That's all you need to do. You need to tell them why you're writing the letter, what you want them to do, and request a new credit report. Request a new credit report. And sometimes I just write, send me a new credit report reflecting these changes, but that request I put at the bottom of the letter. So I have 1 to 2 sentences at the top. This is normally dispute letter 1 because they get more aggressive as time goes on, right? So 1 to 2 sentences at the top, your disputed accounts, and then 1 sentence at most, and then comma, your name. That's it. Do not sign your disputes. Whatever you do not sign your disputes. If you sign your dispute and it goes over to a collector, or you sign a VOD letter, validation of debt dispute letter, you're going to notice that this contract that you requested is going to have your signature taken from your dispute letter, and it's just magically going to appear on your contract that you didn't sign. Am I saying these things to get you scared? Am I saying these things to make it seem like you're never going to remove your negative items? No, I'm not. Because there are so many people, my subscribers, members in my courses and my coaching, and even the ones that I meet one-on-one here in New York or in Vegas, they are getting tons and tons and tons of results. So if you listen to the things that I tell you and you walk with me step by step through this, you will be able to remove these things, and you will make this just like it was a bad dream and you woke up and you moved on with your life. But if you are sending out these general disputes, if you're signing your disputes, if you're not backing your arguments with the facts, if you are just not doing what you were supposed to, and you're not investing every single thing that you possibly could into your number one, education, and number two, your credit, then no, you are not going to remove your negative items because you're spending too much time listening to these other people who tell you that they have the magic cure, the instant cure, bad credit. There wouldn't be 68 million people with bad credit. That number would be going down, but it's not. It's going up. The debt is going up. The number of people who have bad credit is going up because it's the one thing that determines where you live, where you work, how much money you make, what you drive, whether you're having to pay $20,000 on a house instead of $5,000 or zero down on a car instead of, 10, 15, 20,000 and 26% interest versus 0% interest. Your credit is that one thing that determines it. You might not get an apartment and you need to get out with your kids, but no one's accepting you because of your credit. So don't ever downplay how important this one thing is.